What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out channel. It's another episode of Fight Talk with the BMAs. As always, I'm joined by K West in Thailand. And we're about to talk some UFC fights because we saw some fights this week. And guys, as usual, check the description. If you want to get straight to the Fight Talk, it's in the description. It'll be the first line saying Fight Talk starts now. If you don't want to hear what me and K West have been up to in life, you can skip all of that and go straight to the Fight Talk. But on that note, as always, I'm with K West. What's happening, brother?
Yo, man, good to hear from you. Good to see you. I'm doing really well. Just figuring things out, man. Figuring things out, taking day by day, and yeah, answers are coming every now and then through the grapevine, kind of thing. What about you?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. It's been an interesting week since we spoke last week. What's been happening? My body's all messed up, so I'm taking this week off training. So basically, I left Wednesday. So we spoke last Monday. So last Monday I had jiu-jitsu. It was bloody hard. We sparred for, I think the sparring was for 45 minutes. Normally it's like 30 minutes, even though 30 minutes is still hard, but the extra 15 minutes, the extra opponents and whatnot, I just, as usual, came out busted. And then Tuesday, normally, so Monday night, I don't normally sleep. I'm busted and whatnot. So recovery's not that great. But anyway, Tuesday, normally it's MMA, but it's hard. It's drilling. It's hard, but we drill. So there's no sparring or whatnot. Sometimes there might be a bit of like a bit of sparring, but just very light or just very drilling sort of base. But this week, unfortunately, it was all sparring, the whole class, kickboxing sparring. So I left Tuesday even more busted. And then Wednesday, I was just completely shattered because Tuesday night, I didn't sleep either. So Wednesday night, I was completely shattered Wednesday. And I was like, oh, should I go wrestling? I was like, oh, don't be a bitch. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And then Wednesday wrestling, even though it was just drilling, I ended up busting my finger doing a backward roll. This is how I should have listened to my body. And this is why I'm listening to my body. I just done a backward roll, which has been a technique I've done forever. It's just a backward roll. And I busted my finger just because like I knew I wasn't energized to do all of these techniques. I just knew it. And then I also hurt my knee. But wrestling was just drilling. It wasn't sparring. So anyway, I just like, so I left training last week with a busted foot from sparring, my rhomboid, which is an old injury, but kicked up again, busted finger and a busted knee. And then I just said to myself, like, you know what? Like, I was telling myself, like, you know what? Let's rest. By Sunday night, it should be cool and we can hit training again Monday. And then I woke up, everything's still a little bit. And I was like, you know what, G, put that shit aside, take the week off. So I'm taking a week off. I'm taking a week off martial arts, should I say. I'm still going to do some weights and conditioning, but I'm going to take the week off martial arts. This is me trying to listen to my body, even though I'm already feeling that I should go. So yeah, look, I think last week was a tough week just because I think there's a mixture of hard training and not being able to sleep. So I wasn't able to recover and I came out a bit busted and whatnot. All in all good. You know what? I was just speaking to my jiu-jitsu coach from Hong Kong, who's based in Australia now. And he was like, brother, listen. He was like, he's still teaching me, man, still teaching me. He goes, brother, listen, don't worry about jiu-jitsu. You're already a champion in life. Jiu-jitsu is just a lifestyle. Be like respectful to your body, train with reasonable training partners. And I want you to be a black belt that represents your time in jiu-jitsu, your commitment to jiu-jitsu, your will in jiu-jitsu, not about champion or the best or none of that. Don't worry about that. You're already a champion in life. I'm like, man, you're in Australia and you're still teaching me amazing. That's amazing words. I'm like, man, that's amazing. Thank you. I actually felt like, okay, I'm not going to go training and recover this week. Like it helped with that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, it's a lifestyle. I want you to train forever. That's why pick and choose your training partners. And a lot of the older jiu-jitsu guys I hear, and they say, look, listen, man, if you're not competing, if you're older, pick and choose because you have longevity in jiu-jitsu. Otherwise, you're going to keep trying to spar with these young bucks who are competitors and whatnot. You're gonna hurt yourself. So yeah, no, day in every day, every week, I keep listening to these things and I keep trying to go through it. I think you know what the problem is? I think because I look young, not trying to compliment myself. Nobody believes I'm 39 years old. So they think I'm young. They think everyone keeps thinking I'm mid-20s or late 20s. So I need to tell them, no, I'm actually 39. So actually, I don't recover like as fast as you lot. So that's what I think what the issue is as well. And I don't say anything. Like on Tuesday, you know what's funny? On Tuesday, I done sparring with this young guy, college student and whatnot. And Wednesday, I saw him for wrestling. Now I'm all busted and I'm like, come on, G, let's finish this class. Let's do this class. Let's go. He's all hopping around and all good to go. And then we were talking about the sparring yesterday. I was like, yeah, bro, I'm busted, man. I didn't even sleep. My legs hurt. And he goes, bro, I slept for 13 hours. I'm good to go. I was like, you motherfucker. That's how I used to be. I can't even do that. He slept for 13 hours and I'm like, I didn't even sleep. My foot's hurting, my back's hurting. And he's all fully recovered. And I'm like, I'm just telling myself mentally, let's go. Let's just finish off this class. And but no, I mean, listen, this is the journey of I'm in the next phase of my martial art journey, but I think mentally I haven't entered it yet because I'm still trying to hold on to the young part of me. This is why, you know, I wanted to compete in jiu-jitsu. Remember I was saying last year? And I remember every time I step up my training, like ready to go, I'm like, oh fuck, I can't do it no more. Like, yeah, it's like, do I just enter just enter, like forget training for it. When I mean training for it, specifically going hard and doing all that training, do I just enter and just roll? And I think that might be the solution rather than trying to train hard for it and just go there and roll and say, fuck it. Like, because the fact is I can't do a training camp or whatever, or do sparring. You know, they do specific competition training. I can't do that because I'm dead the next day. So I'm thinking, just listen, just train normal and just go in and just do it. Because that's what I was trying to do last year. It's like, I wanted to compete. And then every time I step up my training, fuck, the body hurts. This hurts. The knee hurts. The back hurts. This 1.1 is since I was a white belt. We're talking about nearly, you know, when I first started jiu-jitsu and started getting into it, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, whatever. And I remember just, you know, usual white belt fucking scrambling like a fucking Tasmanian devil, and just fucking, not knowing what I'm doing, but just scrambling, moving. And then I remember just getting caught in a guillotine, and as a white belt mentality, no, this is life or death, so I'm not tapping and shit like an idiot, tried to pull my neck out. And this all fucking, something happened here. And I remember that day specifically, I didn't say nothing to anyone, but I couldn't move my neck after that. I couldn't turn, I couldn't move. And when I walked home from training, this was when I was in Tottenham still, I was walking like straight. I couldn't move, I couldn't turn, everything hurt. And I went home, took some painkillers, whatnot. And I never addressed it. I never addressed the issue. And then what happened was it now affects me. So now every morning I do exercises that release the pain here, that strengthen this and stretch this, like one boy exercises and stuff. Mostly yoga sort of routine, but something I didn't address and something as a white belt that's affecting me now to this day. Like, you know, like I thing is as well, like I knew that my body was hurting when I sneezed last week and this all hurt. And I was like, oh, fuck, my back hurts because of a sneeze. And I was like, shouldn't have gone training. That's my body saying like, that's itching up. Don't go to MMA, don't go to wrestling or whatever it was. But anyway, it's my journey. I'm on the next phase of my life. And it's weird to say that, yeah, my mind's still in the old phase. So I'm still trying to transfer my mind over, but I haven't built that yet. So I don't know, maybe with time. Maybe with time, as I get to know my training partners longer. Do you know what also the other thing is as well? I'm going into a long rant. I think because I've moved locations, and every time you move locations, you go to a new gym, and I'm building relationships with these guys in this gym. So it's like when you first move there, it's like, oh, I need to train, I need to show them that I'm on this, right? A purple belt and all this bullshit. So I put unrealistic expectations. It's hard to go into a brand new gym and say, oh, by the way, I know I'm brand new here. I'm 39, so can I just roll light? Like, you know what I mean? There's this mental expectations of like, let's go hard. And then once I build relationships with these guys, then I can say, you know what, guys, I know you now. You know me. I'm older. Can we just flow and whatnot?
Oh, you need to
That's
change.
that's another aspect. It's trying to build the confidence and build the relationship with the people at the class and the professor and the teacher to tell them like, I want to just go light, please. I want to have longevity in my training. So yeah, that's my long rant of making it, I guess, explaining my week off. Even though I don't have to explain it, I still mentally have to explain it to myself like, you need a week off. But yeah, that's it.
I wasn't laughing at you, by the way, when you mentioned sneezing in your back. I was laughing at the fact that DC mentioned the same thing. But he's like 40 something. I'm thinking, oh shit, gotta stretch, man.
I
Wow.
know that came to mind because I remember Max Holloway was laughing at him. It came to mind. It's how crazy is that, man? Like I said, I tried. Listen, like yeah, nobody knows that I'm 39 anyway, which is a compliment, which is great, man. People are like shocked. They think I'm lying, and I'm like, no, but I'll show you fucking ID if you need to. But they're just like, brother, you look young and you're trying to keep up with it. Like they give me good compliments, and I take that. But I take that and I boost my head with it. Like, oh fuck, man, they think I'm keeping up with them. Let's go. And, you know, like, but also I don't want to use it as an excuse to like, oh man, I'm just in this mental dilemma. I'm in this mental dilemma because I don't want to use it as an excuse to slow down. But then also, you know, I'm taking the compliments and that's boosting me to try and keep up. But anyway, it would have been better if I, you know, had gray hair, all gray and whatnot, and I'm like, yeah, let's go slow. I'm the old guy because there's no gray yet. They think I'm young, and I try to act like I'm young, and I go for it, and then what happens is I get you know, yeah. So
Sounds like you out here trying to call for these checks your old ass can't cash.
exactly, straight up. I
Hey,
wish training was earlier. I could do it earlier because then that way maybe like after training I could go in an ice bath and try and recover. What it is because training's so late, I get home and I have to go straight to bed and my body's hurting. It's not even about the adrenaline in that. My body's actually hurting. So I can't sleep. So I just feel like that makes an effect on my recovery, obviously. And then if I came home and tried to go straight in the ice bath, we're talking about another 30 minutes, 45 minutes process. So getting in there, ice, changing ice, blah, 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 showering up, trying to get ready for bed. I'm not sleeping till past midnight. And then that affects. And I don't even know if that will completely work. You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, listen.
you do stack the chips, don't you, man? You stack the chips high for your practices, man. You're like a slave driver for your own self.
This is the therapy that I'm going through, man. This is the shit that I'm going through because I was talking to her last week and she was like, you know, in a way you're a perfectionist, and perfectionist sometimes is sometimes to be to be perfect, it's self-harming. You know what I mean? All this shit
Yeah.
you're doing is trying to be perfect. You're self-harming yourself. You know what I mean? And I get it, being perfectionist, but some perfection is unrealistic. Perfect is not realistic. You can never be perfect at something. Obviously, you strive for perfection, but being perfect means that, you know, there's nothing more to learn, there's nothing more to grow from. There's like, oh, I'm the supreme being. No, that's not the case. But striving to be perfect is self-harming because you're pushing through and whatnot. You're like, oh, you're hurting on Wednesday and you're trying to be perfect to finish off your perfect week of training. But because you're striving for that, you're self-harming. So you go training on Wednesday, you bust your finger, you bust your knee, you just self-harmed yourself. Why couldn't you just take that day off? And I was like, because I wanted a perfect week. Exactly. There you go. That what I so you know, it's you know, all these things I acknowledge. I've just got to. It's me, isn't it? Obviously. So these are the sort of conversations I'm having with myself, having with my therapist, and still just constantly having it. And you know, yeah, perfectionist is can be self-harming. So it's about finding that balance between perfectionism and self-harming, basically. Interesting shit.
Yeah, no doubt. I remember one quote I heard from my favorite TV show, and it's called Nip Tuck, and there was a part where somebody was trying to, because it was a cosmetic surgery show, so people would go in there to get their nips and their tucks done, right? And someone said, "Oh, I want to be perfect," and the doctor said, "Once you start striving for perfection, you might as well be dead." And I thought, "Yep, straight on the fucking nail." you
It's
know?
so true. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. I didn't think about that before. I mean, I always knew perfection is, I always, for myself, I always said to myself, perfection, perfect is an illusion. Like, now you can strive for perfection, but to get that perfect is always an illusion. You'll never get there. It's not realistic in anything in life. Not saying that, I'm not trying to say it in a negative sense. What I'm saying is, it's like, yeah, if you say you're perfect or you want to get perfect, it's never ending. And if you say you're perfect, that means you're an arrogant prick saying, no one can teach me anything. You know what I mean? But you're always striving for it. But it's about controlling that how you striving for it, controlling that, man, because like that quote you just saw on that cosmetic thing, man, you want to be perfect. Like, could you imagine how it'll be never ending? You see one little misplaced piece of skin, you go back and whatnot. Same with training and jiu-jitsu and whatnot. Like like martial arts, you can never be you could be a master, don't get me wrong, but as all black belts say, man, like it's never ending learning. You know what I mean? They're never perfect. They're black belts at high level. You have a certain skill set, which I do as well. But you'll never stop learning. You never will. So yeah, no, it's an interesting
You gotta put the martial arts practice into reality, isn't it? I mean, if you adopt that you don't stop learning, then I don't know. Maybe you wouldn't strive for perfection as harshly as you do. Maybe I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of things in your bowl to mix with, and you're aware of it, and you understand that it's a struggle. It's you fighting with your ego of your body, your mentality, which is still 20 something, right? And the body's trying to catch up to that. So
do you know
yeah,
what?
it's almost like a midlife crisis, almost, right? You're like,
Yeah, yeah.
just
Do you know what I think it
almost.
is as well? Because I think about this a lot. Because when I was competing, when I was doing the kickboxing back in the days, and then I was transferring to MMA, and then I got injured and it never happened, I think that still sticks with me, right?
The knee,
No,
the knee.
my ankle. When I busted my,
Ah,
this was before this was before my first MMA fight, and this was back in 2012. 2 weeks, 1 week before the fight. I'll never forget this, and I think that's what keeps bugging me because I feel what would have happened is I would have done that fight and I would have done a couple more. And then I would have just felt great about like, you know what, I compete. Like, I still should feel great about competing in kickboxing and what in what I did was Sandal, which is kickboxing and takedown. I should still feel good about that. But there was something that it was unfinished because I didn't do the MMA, which is what I was transferring into. And I think that still bugs me because I feel like if I'd done those, I think I would have been more content to be like, you know what? Like, because I have this thing when I go training and I see these young competitors, and I'm like, oh man, like I feel like I want to compete, and I feel that because my road competition stopped because of the injury I got, and then after when I moved to Hong Kong, I built the confidence to do it again, and what happened? It didn't happen again because my opponent pulled out. I in Singapore when I was ready to go again mentally, COVID happened, and everything just to stop me from doing it, right? And in one part of me is like, oh man, now you're 39, all those years went past. But the other side was like, if I did those, I would have felt like, nah, I've competed. I've done my fair share of competition. I'm out. I don't want to do this no more. I wouldn't have had this martial art insecurity of testing myself. But I have. The thing is, the crazy thing is, I have with the kickboxing fights. But it was just because that MMA one didn't happen. I feel like that still bugs me, like almost like a martial art trauma, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I reckon if that happened, I would have been like, nah, man, I don't need to compete. It would have even been in my head because I'm like, done it. And I think MMA is not saying the highest. When I say highest level, I'm just saying the highest form of competing because you're doing striking and takedowns and grappling and everything. So it would have been that overall. And I feel like I would have been like, yeah, I've done a couple of MMA fights. I'm good. I'm not a competitor anymore. Now I feel like I think that's what bugs me about competing and martial arts because I've never done that.
it's
And
it's the
like,
road not traveled, isn't it?
yeah, you know, and the thing is, I'm not even content with the fact that I tried again. Like when I moved to Hong Kong, I was ready to go. Like I had 2 weeks, 2 weeks before the fight, my opponent pulled out on this one. Like, and then in Singapore, same thing. I was ready to go, and then COVID happened. And then, and I think what it is like because it just never happened. It keeps bugging me. And now I'm 39. I have to face the realism that I don't think I can make it happen because my body just can't take it no more. And
Yeah, you got to be used to that, man.
yeah, so I think that's what bugs me. I think that's what bugs me, and I need to get over that. I need to get over that. I need to be proud of what I have done. I need to be proud of that. You know
Yeah.
what, G, you did get there. You did train for it, and it just didn't happen. And that's out of your control. I can't get it out of my head that what's not out of my control. Um, and I think once I ever get over that, I think I could just finally get over this martial arts, you know,
Kind of like
trauma that I have, if that
trauma.
makes sense.
Hey,
Yeah,
get in the cage. No. I can't do it. My knee hurts. Get in the cage. Shut up.
that's it,
I hear
man.
you, man.
That's it.
Yeah, I remember when we were in Starbucks in Brixton when I met you way back before I came to Hong Kong, and you mentioned about that monkey's on your back, literally telling you to fight, and you tried and you want to try again, and so yeah, I remember hearing this, and it sounds like yeah, it's you pinpointed it. Now you have to put it to bed,
I have to.
basically.
It's a mental thing, man. It's a mental thing, and I
Or,
have. I think I need to take this.
or you go and fight like a white collar or something, someone in your level MMA.
Well,
That's it.
what
Get
this
it.
I mean, but this is what I've always been striving for. Just I'm saying the ones that I was going to do in Hong Kong and Singapore was going to be on an amateur sort of level, was never professional anyway. Same with all, so just what I'm trying to say, I've always been striving for it and it just never worked out. But now I'm like, again, like trying to do it now. And that's what I'm saying. I'm 39 now and it hurts even more to even try and, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's not like it's now it's just different. Like it's the body is just different. I cannot go 3 days of martial art training, and I can't train twice anymore. Like I used to. Remember that last time I trained twice? That was the last time I did it. Remember I was telling you my body was fat. That was like a couple of weeks ago. It's before. I think it was
You
in
were finished.
November or December.
You were dead. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I felt the worst I've ever felt. My body was absolutely destroyed. That was the last time, and I think mentally I told myself that's the last time you're ever going to train hard twice again. You can't do that anymore. Especially
You know
without the
what?
right preparation and stuff.
You know what? I've just I've just seen like what your story is like compared to or close to. You sound like all those fighters that don't want to give it up. That's what you
Yeah,
sound
and
like.
they keep coming back and they keep coming back and fight. Yeah, exactly.
And
I
then
don't want to compare
one,
myself to them at all because I obviously don't fight on that level or haven't competed on that level at
doesn't
all.
matter about
But
that.
it's
It
just,
doesn't matter about that.
yeah,
The feeling that you get from going to fight and being in shape and discipline and stuff, you don't want to let go of that because you're a highly disciplined person. You're conscientious. Like I said, you need to have shit done or something's going on or you feel useless or hopeless or whatever. So yeah, you have that bug. It's almost like Volkanovski. Like I need to fight. I need to do something. Otherwise, like what am I doing? Like so, it sounds like that. Forget the difference between the levels. Just the fact that your behavior matches the discipline of the martial art, which is train hard every day. Uh, you know, pain or not, you show up and you do your best, and you have that in you. You got that Spartan shit, basically. So it's even harder for you to get rid of it or to
yeah.
put it to bed.
I think 100% there's an element of that. I just feel like because it never happened, I got so close every time, and because it never happened, that keeps bugging me as well. Because I reckon if it did happen, even if I just had that one MMA fight, it would have been like, yeah, I'm good. I'm content with it. But like I said, I should be content with one, the kickboxing fights I had or the Sandow fights I had, and two, that I did train hard for those MMA fights and they didn't happen. That's outside of my control. But at least mentally, I was there. I was gonna walk into the cage. I was gonna do it, but it was out of my control. But I can't. I think I literally can't get over that in my own head. I'm in the process of trying to get over that. I need to get over that and be like, be content, man. Everyone says it, man. Like well, I don't need to be a martial art. I don't need to compete. I don't need to. I really don't. Honestly, I need to keep. I don't need to compete. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Um,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
Nice.
I know, it's crazy. Bro, I just need to quickly get the door. Give me a second. You carry on. Tell the people what's been going on in Thailand and everything, and I'll be back when we talk about some fights. Give me a second, yeah.
All right. Well, what's happening, everybody? Hope that made sense about like what's not serving you anymore. You might have to let it go. Some things that you love that you did for many years, and sometimes you have to be honest with yourself that it's just not working anymore. I have to move on, and we all have these. It could be people in our lives. It could be sports that we know and love for many years, and circumstances change, and you just need to adapt to it, basically. So in G-Man's case, it's just a matter of accepting, his body doesn't match up with that anymore, and that's it. So, I hope that whatever anybody is dealing with, suffering with, trying to figure out, you just make sure that you're honest with yourself with regards to whatever it is, because a lot of people won't be. And if you're too afraid to stand up to yourself and have that conversation, that difficult conversation about truth and about direction, you're going to get nowhere. You're going to get nowhere. So, yeah, just be honest to yourself about whatever it is that you want to get done, basically. What else we got going on? So we had Ryan Garcia. I know Gima doesn't really watch boxing, but Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney had a little showdown, pushing and shoving and whatnot. I think that was a UFC event, maybe. I'm not sure, but yeah, I mean, they're meant to fight soon. That was interesting. Ryan for the first push. I don't know. I think he just looked like he was trying to sell the fight. He had this extra attitude and this hype and whatnot. So, yeah, we'll see for the boxing fans. Jake Paul looks like he's going to be fighting. Who did Jake Paul? I've forgotten now. Do you remember who Jake Paul was meant to fight? Something? He's agreed to fight, like spar with somebody. I think he's Sean Strickland, isn't it?
Sean Strickland, yeah, Sean Strickland.
They've agreed to spar for $1 million or something, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that sort of stuff, to be honest with you. I don't. Yeah, to be honest with you, with MMA news, I don't follow none of that stuff. I think I don't have time, so I don't follow that stuff. I'll follow main, be it UFC news or even some stuff on ONE FC, but I don't really follow that other shit anymore, man, at all.
I don't either, but it's just when we're gonna have this, I kind of sweep through. Like even earlier, I was like, okay, let me see. Okay, well, in the blanks, I'm feeling with this foolish stuff.
Yeah, no, I think when you bring it up here, this is perfect to talk about here. The problem is I just don't have any knowledge on it, I guess. I might see a couple of things, but not read into it.
I just throw it up just filler stuff, and I think you could tag it.
Yeah, I know you and Yusuf were talking about Sean Strickland sparring that YouTube guy. I don't know who that guy is, but apparently he's a famous YouTube dude.
I don't really know him either. Like Yusuf follows him, and I looked into him because he's attached to that whole red pill nonsense thing that's going on.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, what you guys? Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Don't even waste your time with any of that stuff. But like you're doing what you're doing. That stuff is for people that are a bit lost in the world at the moment and need a bit more guidance. Albeit not the best of guidance, but that's their gurus at the moment. Like the Andrew Tates and all these other stuff. So I don't know much about it too much. I just heard that name and then I saw, oh, he's sparring, and I was thinking, well, I know he did. He said some nonsense to some other YouTuber and pulled out his magazine to this guy in a threatening manner and was talking about fighting. So when he got busted up, I was like, Tom is a real bitch.
And Strickland, I saw that actually. That's one thing I did see because I saw Strickland and he actually was asked, like Strickland obviously was toying with him, like literally toying with him. And then he was like, what's the time? What's the time? The guy was like 2 minutes. He's like, cool. I think it was a 3-minute round. So once it hits 2 minutes 30, like he literally, and then once it hit 2 minutes, he went for it. And that guy's, listen, I give that guy credit, the YouTuber guy, because he stood up, he stayed, he didn't get knocked down or whatnot, he took it. But obviously, if Strickland did that from the very beginning, there's no way he would have lost 3 minutes of that. Strickland kind of gave it to him for like 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds.
About that. And he stayed. Yeah, you're right. He stayed there. Yeah, so he's got a chin on him for sure. But I failed to accept that beating was not some form of divine intervention.
And why would I mean? Like, I think people just Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you want to spar or any MMA or any professional fighter like that? Why even when you know you don't stand a single chance and you know someone like Strickland or any MMA fighter, if say for example any MMA fighter, and you think that you want to spar with them, you have no skill set, but then you might clock them with a shot hard. You fall hard. MMA fight, regardless, can be like, okay, if that's the way you want to go, let's go. I have this. Like last week, I'm going back to me again. Sorry, when I was sparring with someone on the Tuesday MMA club, it was the last round, and this young kid, the kid I was telling you about, who slept for 30 hours, he goes, can we go light on this one? I'm like, yes, I want to go light. So we're going light, we're going light, we're going light. And then all of a sudden, he starts hopping around, getting excited. And then he throws a really hard leg kick. And I was like, well, that's light out the window now, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't need to, you know what I mean? So immediately, I started throwing hard leg kicks. So I'm just like, yeah. So even for me, anyone, to be honest with you, Jim, you hit them hard, they're gonna be all right. Let's go. So why I don't understand the ego or whatever it is, as a YouTuber, like if you're, I don't know if you, I mean, YouTubers, I guess, are famous or whatnot. Where you're like, yeah, I want to spar an MMA fighter. Like, why? I would never, well, I would never, ever be that dumb to do that. But fuck that, man. But maybe because I do martial arts, I know the consequences and I know the skill set. So that's why I would never do it. But I don't get these people who want to do it. Jake Paul, the reason why he's different, because he trains boxing like professionally and he's having a professional fight. So there's a big difference between him trying to spar Sean Strickland. He's a professional boxer. You know what I mean? This other guy who did it, it didn't look like he knew what the fuck he was doing at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's blatantly obvious if you click the comments for likes, of course. Yeah, that's what it's blatantly for. It's always for that reason. And, this guy, he's allegedly an influencer, so he's got people, big following of people that watch his shit and follow what he's doing. So that's what it is, isn't it? Maybe somehow he might even influence some people to go and train MMA at some point. You just never know how things work, isn't it? But yeah, it's all for the clicks, man. It's always the same thing, and you're not into that, so it doesn't make sense to you.
Yeah, doesn't make sense to me at all. But anyway, so I guess we're into the fight talk. Should we talk about the UFC, the fight card, the fight night that we had this weekend?
Yeah, man, that was some good shit.
That was a good shit. That was a good fight, man. Jack Hermansson versus Joe Pyfer. Now that was a pretty damn good fight. And Jack Hermansson, I mean, listen, both of them were great. Jack Hermansson showed fucking experience and skill. Because that first round, I was like, oh, Piper's connecting with that left hook. He's gonna get him. And it all looked like Pyfer there. And then round two, like it was still Pyfer, I think. He was connecting with some shots. I was like, Jack Hermansson's got a chin on him, but I don't think he could take it. And then round 3, 4, 5, man, Jack Hermansson just showed that experience. He pushed forwards and ended up winning the fight by decision. But I was like, wow, like he really, again, from experience and also taking them shots, like really was able to kind of push forward, put that pace on, throwing those calf kicks. It was great performance, and I'm surprised even with the wrestling. When in the later rounds, Jack Hermansson was able to take Pyfer down. I was like, damn, like this was a great performance by both of them. But Jack Hermansson just showed why he's just that level up, the experience. Because I don't think Pyfer ever came out the second round, I believe, of his fights. If I record one of the commentators saying that, but Jack Hermansson has had 5-round fights before, so he's more experienced there. So he just pushed him to the literally deep waters and was able to finish, like not finish it, but win the fight. After that,
what did you think about the hype train kind of being slightly rickety and derailed now? Because that's what he was. They put a lot of emphasis on him. What do you think about it now, or him now?
I don't think he's young. I mean, how old is he? Let me check his age. Let me see. Where is he?
He's actually a young fighter. He's like 20 something, 26, 27.
Yeah, it doesn't have his age on the UFC site. But anyway, I mean, look, the fact is, like, yeah, he's young. I mean, like, I don't think it knocks anything out. Listen, this was his opportunity to to go up a level. But I think what you can learn from this, of course, anyone can, is like, all right, I still got more to go. Like, I have more to learn. Like, okay, you know, Jack Hermansson, who was like number 11, if I can't beat him, or if he pushed me to another level, that's a learning curve, man. Because there's no way you can you know, go within the top 10. You're gonna struggle, right? So for him to break in the top 10, it's like, cool, you know, it didn't go my way. I've got to step up. And that might be, you know, training for 5-round fights constantly now, like having that mentality, or learning obviously what he did wrong. Learning that in the deeper rounds, you know, he wasn't able to, you know, the pressure that Hermansson was putting on, learning from these sort of things. So I don't think it takes anything away from the hype train until, I guess, keep losing. Then you're like, all right, well, look, you know, I guess the hype train's derailed there, but for now, it's cool. I mean, what is he? He's 12-2. 12-2. That's not bad at all, man.
No, it's not. But I think it looks like he just threw a lot of things out, like wild shit, man. Like a lot of, you know, he sat down on his punches a lot, if you notice, whereas Hermansson was kind of throwing 1-2s in between getting rocked. And his brain shook. But he kept it simple, right? You think? Hermansson kept it really simple with how he beat him. He didn't do anything crazy and outlandish. He survived, gave him 1-2s, gave him the leg kicks. You know, he just took it old school and cemented his place as number 11, which is, you know, I'm no fucking gatekeeper for anybody. You know, that's what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, his grappling's amazing, and I'm surprised that it didn't go more towards that. But from the striking perspective, yeah, I think he's very basic in the sense of he uses basic techniques and whatnot, but makes them effective. Yes, he gets hit a lot because he got hit by that left hook a lot, and that's what I thought was going to get him. But he was able to take it. But how long can you take those shots for? How many? You know what I mean? Especially if you got the upper echelon of the middleweight division. You're talking about the bloody Stricklands. You're talking about the Adesanyas and whatnot. So, you know, how do you get to that level, to that point? And the champion himself, DDP. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So they both got a lot to learn. You know what I'm trying to say? But this is amazing from both of them. I think it's great for Hermansson. He should definitely. I don't know if he needs to take a top 10 fight now, of course, and break into the top 10.
Chimaev, he called out Chimaev. He always said you know, let's play. So.
Well, Hamzat Chimaev. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Yeah. Chimaev is fighting. Listen, Hamza is a superstar, man. And no disrespect for Jack. They're gonna put Hamza against another superstar fighter. Possibly a title fight, we don't know, but in the top 5, top 3, that's what Hamza's gonna make, because he's a freaking massive superstar. So yeah, it's good to call out his name, but that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, fair dues, man. But yeah, I think in regards to Pyfer, he needs to not put so much onto his power, because we know he's a powerful guy. I feel like he relied on it way too much, and that ultimately cost him a lot of the fight. You know, obviously Hermansson did his thing too, but in regards to what we were seeing, you know, we're seeing a powerful guy going all powerful for all the rounds, and eventually slowing down and missing. Like, maybe you need to change the game plan a little bit and, you know, do other things, because perhaps if he sat behind the jab and did combinations, it would have been better. But there was times when he was swinging and he was getting air, and I'm thinking that cost you about that much of your fucking stamina bar, son. So yeah, a lot to learn.
Lot to learn. I mean, this is the beauty about these fight nights and whatnot, is because it's a main event on a fight night, right? So you're getting to know these individuals more. They're pushing themselves out there, and then they're learning. You know what I mean? They're trying to discover for themselves. Am I at this level yet? You know what I mean? And that's the beautiful thing about these fighters, man. And the great thing about MMA, I feel like there's so much potential for individuals who are, be it hype trains to keep learning or be derailed, and then individuals who might not be a hype trainer, might not know about, who's growing in the background. You know what I'm trying to say? That's the amazing thing about this. And the good thing about MMA as well, a loss doesn't really mean much, like, because they always come back. Unlike boxing, a loss in boxing is way more devastating. A loss in MMA is like, all right, cool. Like, we'll give you another fight. Like, you got multiple fights. It's just, I guess, if you get multiple losses, then obviously, but no, don't take away nothing, man.
And even then, You know, like remember there was a time where it was how many was it where it was cut like before like 3 in a row, you know, and you were
Something like
looking at
that.
okay, well, now you got people on 6 and 5, right? So they've
I
been in
mean,
the
to
all
be
league.
fair, they're mostly superstars, like a Tony Ferguson, like a BJ Penn, like when Anderson Silva, when they're on a 6 and 7 win loss, which it's heartbreaking, but they're mostly superstars, they're mostly legends. UFC will never let them go, but they shouldn't be fighting anyway. But yeah, I think if you're just like, you know, an up and comer and you lose 3 in a row, then yeah, I think you're in trouble.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like it. But yeah, no, that's the way it goes, isn't it? And that's why we love it because anything can change. And even if someone's top shit on paper against someone who's a prospect, fight isn't done on paper, son. On that day, it's about who has that will and who wants to impose it more. That's it. There's other factors. There's not training properly, not cutting weight correctly, got injured in training, all this bullshit that all kind of surmises into the fight when it comes to it. But you put that aside and the door closes and it's you and that man and or you and that girl and it's who has that on the date, you know? That's what that really
I mean,
matters.
that's what's amazing about these athletes and whatnot. Just there's such a journey to get to that one point. You know what I mean? Like that is just such a big journey to get to that one point. And yeah, it's an amazing. Again, that's why just all the respect to these individuals, man. That's why it's hard to shit on a fighter, even if you don't like him because he talks shit or whatever it is. It's hard to still shit on them because they show up and they're in that cage. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't
Yeah.
like you. The fire.
Yeah, seriously. It's tough. You've got to respect them. You've got to respect them, especially like I hate it when non-martial artists or athletes or people just sit on the couch try to criticize because I'm just like, what the fuck do you know about fighting? Like, especially I've seen this and I'll never name out names, but I've seen this like, oh, even towards boxers. Anthony Joshua, for example, if he loses, I've seen people, he's a pussy. I'm like, motherfucker, like, look at yourself. You won't even last 20 seconds. You've got no cardio. And you've never trained. You've probably never been hit in the face or sparred or anything, right? And that stuff really gets to me, but I'll never start an argument with someone. But I hate it when couch potatoes are like, you know, be an MMA fighter or boxing just because they lose, they call him a pussy. I'm like, that is like the worst thing a couch potato could call a fighter who actually got into the ring, let alone the journey of getting into the ring, but actually got into the ring and fought and be it lost or won or whatever. That's like one of the worst things. That's why it's very hard for me, like I say, I don't think I could ever shit on a fighter, but I could. I might not like a fighter, like I said, I might not like them, but that's because of their character. Or I might like a fighter and I want them to win. But to not like a fighter, that's because that character, like Kobe Covington as an example, he portrayed that character to be like, I want you not to like me, right? So he done a good job about that. Or if Khabib was still fighting, I would want him to win no matter what, even though he feels fighting another guy who I like Dustin Poirier, love that dude, or Justin Gaethje, love that guy, but I want my fighter to win. But I will never shit on a Kobe Covington because he's a fucking good fighter, right? And he went through that exact same journey of the training camp to get to the cage. You have to respect, and he got in the cage and he fights. Whether his performance was basic or not or whatever, you can't call him a pussy. You can't call him like, you know what I mean? He's a fucking fighter. He's a beast. He's a savage.
You know, I totally agree with you. And that is a harsh, sad reality, modern reality that we have of keyboard warriors that can say all these things behind their keyboards and their computers and in their safe mother's basements and spout all this shit without any repercussion. Because we all know that on any given day, they are not saying that thing face to face in front of no fighters, not even a peep. And if they are, okay, they go and spar and they get battered and they call it quits at the end of the day, that's fine. But generally,
Yeah.
they're not doing it just because of that separation that we get, that kind of safety net that you can say whatever you want and, you know, just shit on people's feelings and their hopes and dreams. That's the internet, man.
That is the internet. That is, and listen, I faced that. Me and Kibbs face it. And do you know what's funny? Like through the podcast and the channel,
Yeah.
like people cuss us. People cuss us. And do you know what's funny? Like constructive criticism is always great. That's always amazing. But people want to insult. And the best way people feel like they can insult and get a reaction is by racism. Like we get racist shit all the time, right? And the reason why I tell kids, like, I don't read the comments and I don't give a shit about it, but you have to understand, like, this individual doesn't even know how to be effectively give criticism, and they want to offend, and they steam to the lowest level of humanity just to disrespect me and Kibbs just because, I don't know, we gave a reaction to a trailer or whatever it is, and they just want to, you know, insult us. So there's so much comments that we get, and think about it, we don't even get hundreds of thousands of views, right? We just get hundreds or a couple or whatever it is, and we're still getting disrespected. Could you imagine if that number was to go up? It's going to be more, and maybe on Fight Talk as well. Like, maybe people would want to disrespect us as well, but whatever. But that's what I'm saying. Like, people are out there and they just feel like, you know, it's the right, in their heads, like, oh, it's the right thing to do. I'm going to get a reaction. I'm going to disrespect these people, and it's going to make an effect on them. I'm like, but the thing is, some people it does. I don't give a shit, right? But some people it does, man. That's what's scary about the internet, because of this online bullying. People, it's hard. But I lost you,
Yeah,
bro. Frozen up. Oh, there you go.
yeah, it's dangerous, and you know, yeah, there's a lot of that. You know, that's that Sneeko guy, for example, and the cronies he deals with, I forgot the name of it, Fresh and whatnot. They had an issue with another group, another set of YouTubers, and the main guy went into the racial kind of element to kind of combat it as a response. Like, you just don't have enough intelligence and vocabulary and swagger to come up with at least something that's funny or something that's like targeted to the individual. Like, maybe they're balding or something, or maybe they have funny teeth. That's, you know, that is, you know, ingenuity, not the skin or the religion. These things are just this. Unfortunately, this is reality. This is society. This is all these kind of things, and you're gonna get haters whatever you do. Whatever you do, you know. People say, no, is it no press is bad press? Bad press is, what was the term? Any press is good press, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, you know, and all the people that are listening out there, you know, you have to just kind of separate all of this junk that people throw at you, because otherwise you're not going to leave your house. You know, people are going to make judgments all the time. 0.3 seconds, you walk down the road and 10 people have made a judgment of you on pre-notions that has nothing to do with you whatsoever. It's things they read on the internet, secondhand experience, and so on, and they've created this ideology that you are this person because of X, Y, and Z. No, I'm not. And when you don't fit into this ideology, they can't talk. They can't understand you. They can't speak to you because you don't fit, and they're not willing to engage. So you've got this going on all the time, and it's a waste of energy.
But you know what's tough though? I think because we grew up without the internet, right? And then we grew up, so we saw the transition into this sort of stuff, right? And even though, you know, we might have the mentality that of like, fuck the bad comments and whatnot, kids are growing up with this shit, so it's difficult for them. It's fearful for my nephews and nieces and just kids in general. Like, they're gonna grow up with this online bullying, and because we grew up with where bullying was fucking live in school or whatever, right? You had to go through shit. And that's still a thing, but then it continues at home as well. Like, with online bullying, it's scary for children. And it's about, you know, and you can't block them from social media. It really is tough. Like, so, you know, that's a scary thing out there. But people are people, man. There's like, unfortunately, that's just the way. Listen, man, listen, I'm not gonna get into it, but when human beings, adults, justify the murder of 30,000 Palestinians and babies, 13,000 children, when human adults in high positions of the world or whatever justify the killing of 13,000 babies, then of course random people are going to bully people on Facebook and Instagram. And you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's in the human nature. It's disgusting, but it's obviously about the individual. We trying to keep moving forward and trying to teach our kids or whatever it is to be like, you got to learn to ignore that. There's ways to overcome that shit, but you know, it can never be stopped. It can never be stopped, because like I said, grown-ass men justifying the murdering of babies. Like, all right, well, that's the world we live in.
Yeah, that always makes me feel cold when I hear about this stuff, and that makes me think about all the other things of this cruelty and senseless violence that happens. And it just anyway, I'll tell you this though. I would say, and everyone who's listening, I'll tell you this as well. That I think I said to you before, you should never let the world change you. And being on travels and meeting people and different circumstances, different situations, and so on, you start like I began to feel like I could almost understand why certain people are rude and have no sense of patience for people because in the world sometimes you feel like everybody's on you, like all eyes on me type shit. Like it, been in situations where it's like feel like an ATM. Everyone's trying to scheme and it was getting hustled and stuff. And I remember feeling to myself like, damn, like these specific individuals are doing this in this country. And each time I go to this place, I get this kind of feeling from these folks, and I'm just like, okay, they're not all like that. Of course, you can't paint them all with the same brush, but I had to kind of have the inner dialogue that like it's not the country, it's individuals, and it's also the fact that I've been in a place where I don't see this kind of stuff happen. I know it exists. I know that things are harsh for many people all over the world, and I send them the positive strength to get through that every day because you know they're living through all that shit while we're here like all nice and comfortable. But sometimes you forget like some of the harshness and you see people hustling and whatnot, and you're obviously the target of the hustles, and you're like, man, wait, where do they come from? Where do I come from? Okay, all right, fine. And I have to kind of eat a whole lot of humble pie, just kind of like check myself on many of those things. And it's hard because the world is tough. Yeah, it's tough. And yeah, so I saw that in myself. I saw that in myself, and I was like, no, you can't blur the lines between what some individuals are going through and the whole people or the race of people and stuff. That's but it's easy to do it. It's easy to do it. When I think back on certain people, like, I don't like these people, I don't like that people, and I think, yeah, I can understand where that can come from, and that's where the hate comes in, and you need to stop that. People need to stop that and draw the line and take people for individuals, not as a whole.
Exactly. That's a hard thing. That's a hard thing, man. We see it in the world with everything. People are being painted, but it's tough. It's a tough thing, man. Seeing people as individuals, checking yourself, walking away from situations, checking your own ego. Look, it's all human emotions, but I think as regular humans, we are 100%, and I'm going back to this because it relates to it, and we are 100%. The regular human, the billions of regular humans are 100% actually like peaceful. Like we go through these emotions, we avoid shit, we try to avoid shit. I try to avoid whatever. Look at these grown-ass men who can't avoid shit and just want to kill babies. I keep going back to it because that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Those grown-ass men, people in charge, justify killing innocent people because of all of these emotions on a different scale of level. But the fact is, it doesn't matter. You're justifying them. This is just like me trying to control myself not to cuss someone out because he's trying to rob me or trying to scam me, compared to these, so-called politicians or whatever who just, take it to a level where it's like, yeah, it's cool, bomb them up. It's cool. Here's some extra ammunition, bomb them up. Oh, their children, it's okay. It was an accident or collateral damage. Oh my goodness. Listen, it goes to a different level. I know we've gone completely off topic, but I always say us regular people are the peaceful ones on the planet. Even though we go through our regular shit, trying to avoid be it bullying, trying to ignore all of that stuff, trying to check our own egos. End of the day, we are the peaceful ones because we're avoiding it. But then again, I mean, I don't know, man. Said if everyone's individual. Yeah, listen, if we weren't peaceful, to be honest with you, if us regular people won't be peaceful, you know what? It'll be fucking anarchy out there. fuck what the police and all that sort of stuff will do. There'll be constant fights, there'll be stabbings, even though that stuff happens. But what I'm saying is, us regular people, it'll be constant stabbing, killing, like Wild West days. Like I've challenged you to a duel and you just fight and kill each other. Like we are the most. It's unfortunate that we are in the most supposed to be in the most civilized time of our time, but these things are still happening and people let it happen. And like I say, grown ass men or women justify these things happening. Like there's no justification of innocent people dying, but there's people making justifications, and that's disgusting. But that's the world we live in, unfortunately. That is the world we live in, and I hope we evolve. We are still savages. We're still barbarians, and I hope we evolve. That we will evolve, but I don't know to where. You know what I mean? I don't know to where. But anyway, we went very much off topic. Let's talk about the next fight. Dan Ige versus Andre Philly. Listen, Dan Ige, come on, man. Did you see that knockout? It was absolutely amazing. And I believe they trained together. And Dan Ige, and they were like, listen, in training, you always hold back. But in fighting, it's different. And the way he like threw that, I feel it was a right hook, knocked him out, went over him, just one punch. Didn't even, it was just boom, one, I'm out, it's done.
Yeah. I remember he said something like, he said, put a stamp on it.
Literally, he did, right? Literally, that was a stamp.
Put a stamp on it, he said. Wow. Because he was emotional, right? Because of what you said, and also I think because he called him out and he was like, what?
Yeah,
like,
and and they're friends, right? I think he said like he's genuine friend of mine. I like him, you know what I mean? And so I don't know if he felt disrespected, but I think he felt like, look, it's a shame that you called me out, and then I think he's like, I don't want to fight you because you're my friend, but sparring's different. But even Dan Ige admitted it. He goes, in sparring, he fucks me up. He even said, Dan Ige said something interesting. He goes, in sparring, even amateurs fuck me up. But fighting is different because in sparring, I would have held that punch back. But in fighting, I'm letting that punch go, and you see what happens when I let it go. So it's very interesting that even someone at Dan Ige's level was saying, yeah, even amateurs fuck me up because training's different. Very interesting.
Yeah. Reminds me of did you ever watch Justice League Unlimited?
I don't know which animation that was. That was animation, right?
Justice League, yeah, like long cartoon. Anyway, Darkseid comes right with his his stance comes in floating to try to fuck with Superman, and then he gets into it, and Superman gives him a bang, and he goes whoa, and he goes to him like, I don't use my full power normally, like that's real fight. And I was like, oh shit, kind of just like open that fifth gate, and Danny gave it to him. It was clean, A1 boxing as always.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And just I think, because you mentioned it last week, his boxing is is like amazing. And it literally is. And I think because of the reach, he was able to kind of like stay out the pocket, but when he comes in the pocket, like he uses his footwork to get in the pocket, uses his kind of jab to get in the pocket, and then just unloads and then kind of stays outside the pocket. Just amazing at that. And he was able to connect with that right hand, which that's it, stamped, finished.
Obviously, when you're training with people, you kind of know the tells or weaknesses and so on, which he did mention. He knows what's there. So and he showed up on the night. Simple.
Yeah, no, amazing for Dan Ige. Moving on, middleweight bout, Robert. Here we go with the names, man. Robert versus Ivo.
Yeah, Eeyore. His name is Eeyore.
Eeyore. Patria. Yeah. I'm trying to remember this fight now. I'm trying to think. What did I remember from this unanimous decision?
Patricia, something, Portia, something.
Portia, yeah. Why have I gone blank on this fight?
That was a really good fight. You remember it was he had his hands down, the Portia guy had his hands down, and
yes, they started off with an eye poke and all this sort of stuff, right?
Yes, exactly. And then he took over the fight. It was a great display. And he had a great call out. Ukrainian guy, no?
Yeah, who did he call out?
he just said, "I'm here, I'm ready," and whatnot. Like it was well done. It was good promo. You know, it was a good shoot, well articulated, sharp to the point. Just basically said, "Look, I'm ready for this division. Come at me." Kind of. Nobody
Okay.
specific.
Okay, awesome, awesome. I'm trying to remember. I remember it was a back and forth fight, but I remember it started off with eye pokes and all this sort of stuff. So it's kind of like slow a little bit, and then got into it. Okay, cool. We'll see what happens with that one. I guess I don't have much to. I'm gone blank on that one. I don't have much to say about that one. Let's move on to Brad Tavares versus RoboCop, who you mentioned earlier. Gregory Rodriguez. I mean, that was a good freaking fight. That was a very good fight. And obviously, like with RoboCop, man, he went in there like RoboCop at the end. I feel it was round 3 when he just kind of unloaded because he was way more powerful. Whereas Brad was a lot more movements, lateral movements, moving around. But when RoboCop put it on, boy, he put it on and was able to kind of take out Brad Tavares because he was just every shot was just powerful.
You could feel it breaking through the guard and everything. Like it was a big difference night and day in regards to the power. Did you see all the fight though?
What's
Did you
that?
watch all of it?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
watch
yeah,
all,
yeah.
all of that? I think to myself, like, he's so well rounded. I've forgotten how well rounded Gregory is. Like he puts everything together really well. He speaks English really well. His mic work is good. So do you see that too?
Yeah, I mean, he said that to DC because he's known as a jiu-jitsu fighter. It's a jiu-jitsu
Yeah,
champion. But he was like,
yeah.
I'm an MMA fighter. I mean, I'm an MMA fighter. You know what I mean?
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
He
I
was
like
able
that.
to
I like
show,
that.
he was able to display that striking. And listen, man, I mean, he comes forward a lot, and he puts that pressure on. And when the shot lands, I think every shot is is earning
Pivotal.
respect. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like, oh, I don't want to be hit
yeah,
by that.
yeah. No, definitely he does. He puts authority on his punches, and yeah, I just thought that as a like because now that we are basic MMA analysts, we've been doing this for a long time now. I look at the whole package of a fighter. The in ring and the out ring. You can kind of have an idea of where they might get to if they continue with that consistency. They keep it in the cage, and they're also saying the right thing. The might get fanned. You can see, you know what? He might, or she might, something. And yeah, I don't know. With him, I feel like there's interest about it. There's something intriguing about it. I think as well the fact that he's Brazilian, he can speak really well, can get over the fans. Because a lot of Brazilians, even now, they're still like they're generally they speak English better. But there's some of them that are really good fighters, and they can't communicate with the Western audience, and they kind of lose out on that. But yeah, I think he's. I look forward to seeing what he does with higher competition for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think a lot of those foreign fight. When I say foreign, I'm saying foreign from the West, right? So English and whatnot. They have that extra element of
Mm.
I need to learn English and reach out to that audience to get more famous and all that sort of stuff. And but yeah, I
Unless
mean,
or
yeah,
Jose
or
Aldo.
Jose Aldo, exactly. I mean, I think that's amazing when you get to that point where you don't even have to, and you're a superstar,
Yeah,
you're a legend. I'm like, you don't even have to. So it
yeah,
just depends. It depends what you're after and whatnot. But it's great that they take that initiative. I think that's a part of their discipline. That's a part of them trying to grow. Like, yeah, you know what? I will learn the English and whatnot, but I don't think they have to. But it's amazing that they have that element and they are able to do so. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, no,
Great.
exciting, man. Exciting to see where that goes. Um, let's move on, man. Lightweight, Michael Johnson. This guy is a legend. I would say he's a legend, man, because he's been doing it for so long and he's fought the who's who versus Darius Flowers. I mean, Michael Johnson got out a win. He got knocked out in the previous fight. I can't remember who he fought.
Oh
But I remember his last fight, he
man.
got knocked out. This one, he was able to win by decision. I do think Darius came out with a karate style. They were talking about it on the commentating.
Yeah,
And he's on a
yeah.
lot of, he was like, sideways on, a lot of side kicks and all that stuff. And I think because of Michael Johnson was a southpaw, so he wanted to come out with that. So he was being effective with his side kicks. But I think Johnson was able to kind of put the pressure on, get close. Um, and get the win out, man. I mean, good for Johnson. I know he's trying to go for it. I mean, he's still trying to do the damn thing, but it's good that you got the win. I'm happy that you got the win. I just don't know what happens, like, with him. You know what I mean? Because he's not obviously getting up there in the top 5 or anything anymore. So what happens? Where does he take his career? Does he just have fights, just make money, a bit of money here and there? Because he's obviously on a fight card. You know what I mean? Like, where does and what again, he's come from a position where he's fought like the Habibs, the Tonys, the everyone, man. He beat Dustin Poirier at flyweight. I think it's at flyweight. Like,
yes, he did. Yeah, no, he has been around. You know, man, a record 23-19 is, eesh, you know, I don't know.
it's a record
No
of
one's
a veteran. Record of a veteran.
absolutely, absolutely, but it's not the record of a UFC champion per se. So I don't know. I think I'm curious to see what you know the next time that he loses. I suppose it's not nice to say that, but that's what normally happens, right? When he loses, people start asking questions, and I want to know what Dana says when people ask those questions of him regarding Michael Johnson, right? Because that's how it comes up, isn't it? Very rarely do you see fighters talk about, well, I might just retire in a couple. I mean, it happens, but generally they don't associate with them words, Like just ask Tony, huh? So
what would be
yeah,
good,
I don't know.
and of course, this is the heart of a fighter. But what would be good if he just took easy fights? So when I mean easy fights, I'm talking about people who are not in the top 10, obviously, but I would say 15 and above. But yeah, you know what? I still want to fight. I still got that energy. Having that realization, I'm not going to get there, but let me have these fights with these. Again, they are young upcomers, so there's a bit of a risk. But again, they're not in that top 15, so there's a good matchup or whatnot. I mean, I don't know. Some of these guys are just beasts anyway, but and just have a couple of wins and be like, yeah, I'm done. You don't. Again, it's always sad to see people like Michael Johnson go on a losing streak, and then like you don't want to see that. I don't want to see that
No, no,
personally.
no, me neither. I thought at some point one of these organizations would have like a legends. I mean, they kind of have like a legends contract somewhere. I think when when the boxing thing came up, was it Thriller? And I was thinking, when Anderson went over that, and Vitor, I thought that was going to be the new thing. But it's been very sporadic. But it would be cool if one organization had like a league where it was just them fighting and they have like lucrative contracts, and so that the rest of their life is good. They take less risk. They fight someone in their level. They're getting paid, entertaining everybody. There's not much pressure to get well. Nah, maybe they don't even cut serious weight like they do. I don't know, but something to just fit in where they can continue their longevity with less harm and more pay. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't know about the less harm thing, because you're still hitting each other in the head at that age after all the wars you've been through for so many years. So you're still fighting, which I think is difficult. Like, so that's why I feel like it's risky. And you know what? I think what might be risky is a possible serious injury or death or something because of all, you know what I mean? Like, I think that might be risky. For my opinion, I feel like legends just stay as a legend and be done. But that's on them. I don't want to see Anderson Silva fight anymore. I don't want to see, because I don't want to see him lose against Jake Paul and all that sort of stuff, right? I just want him to finish off on top. That's why you got to respect the GSP and the Khabib and hopefully John Jones. Like, they finish on top, and that was it, and that just cements them. But I don't know. It's
Cejudo
tough.
should have stayed where he was as well. Don't you think?
Who's that?
Cejudo should have stayed where he was. If in that same realm of just like, you know what? I got everything I need, and I'm out ski. Like, done. That would have been great.
100%. Because we're gonna find out next week, right? When he fights a freaking beast of Marab. And if he loses again, yes, he lost against Aljo, he lost against Marab, the top of the tier. Okay, but you should have come back. Then you got now in his head, he might be like, I left on top, double champ, and now I've got 2 losses, and now I don't want
Yeah.
to lose. I don't want to leave again on 2 losses. And then what happens now? Do you just keep getting a third loss or four? Because all he wants to do is fight the top dudes. He should have stayed retired, or he should never have retired. Should never have retired. But we'll find out
Did you
next
ever
week.
catch?
You never know. Like, you can't count him out now. You never know what happens next week. When he fights tomorrow. Let's finish off with this card. The last fight on that.
Did you ever find out why he retired in the first place? Did you ever talk about it?
Who, Cejudo? Nah, I think it was just strategy, trying to get more money and whatnot. And Dana was like, all right, then peace. And then, you know what I mean? Then he was like, oh, wait, I was joking, I want to come back. I think it was just strategy. I don't think he could have just said, I want time off or whatever it is, but I don't know. He should never have come back. So that makes me feel like it was just trying to be like a strategy. So the UFC will make him a contract and whatnot. I don't mean to be bad. I know Dana's mentioned it with Khabib so many times because Khabib was a superstar so Dana was trying so hard to get. I think Khabib mentioned on an interview that
Yeah.
they were offering him millions, like 40 million or something to come. Yeah, like big money. I don't. Cejudo was not that, and maybe he was expecting something like that, and they're like, "Nah, cool, you're retired. Good luck to you." And then he was like, "Oh, I was joking. I'm joking. Can I come back?" I think his legacy would have been better if he stayed retired, honestly. But we'll see. Let's see what happens next week. We'll see what happens. But no, that's a hard one. It's a hard one.
Oh man.
Well, look, finishing off this card, Wadolo Ferreira versus Armen Pistogian. I don't know if I said those names correct, but I think he won by an arm triangle, and that was a controversial tap. I don't think he felt like he tapped. Man, I can't remember. I can't even say his name. This is how it goes with my basic reading. But anyway, he put him in a very tight arm triangle. He was in mount still. And Petrosian, I think he was out. And that's how he kind of tapped, like he was going out and he kind of tapped. And then when he stood up immediately, it looked like he was, disputing with the ref that he didn't tap. But I think Dominic Cruz was saying, even when he stood up, he looked like he was out. He was out of it. So, he would have, the choke was tight. And end of the day, even if he didn't tap, he could have actually been out. And maybe he didn't even know that he tapped. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. So anyway, it was a nice arm triangle choke, very tight from the mount as well, very tight. He'd even adjust the side control to get that in. So tight choke. Cool. Well,
All right.
look, I did not watch any of the prelims. Did you watch any of the prelims? Anything to talk about?
Not a thing. Not a thing. No. 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 No.
All right. Well, look, before we finish up, obviously next week we should do, we'll talk on the group. We should do a watch along for the big one, UFC 298, Volkanovski versus Topuria, which is going to be exciting because one is Volkanovski and two, Topuria is talking a lot and already, he's putting it out there. He's trying to manifest it. But Alex is no joke just because he lost. And I do think Alex should have taken more time off, but just because he lost to Islam Makhachev in a weight above you should not count him out at all. Like, you need to take it easy if you're going to try and count him out.
Yeah. No.
That's gonna be expected. We should do a watch along. When is it coming or what time is it? So it's 7 a.m. for me. It's usual time, 10 p.m. for you, 10 a.m. for you, sorry, and for Yusuf it's gonna be early morning games, 3 a.m. for him. But we'll see how it goes. But let's do a watch along for this one because this is gonna be a fun one. Predictions, what do you think? First fight, Alex versus Poirier.
I think it's worrying what Alex has been saying. Remember what we were talking about in the video? I think that's quite worrying. That's exactly the same thing of, playing a tug of war with your mind about, is this for me, is it time, etc. Yeah, I think that part is dangerous. Not necessarily that he got knocked out. I mean, he did get knocked out quite recently, and everybody knows that he should take more time after a knockout like that, right? Regardless of which weight class, the knockout itself, the damage that was done, you need time. So I think that's quite scary. And obviously, I think the media and Topuria is like, well, he's not invincible anymore. He's been rattled, but he's possible. So that's what's going to be the story leading into this. But I just feel like that was quite scary that he was, Volk was talking like that, and I hope that he's able to overcome those things and figure out what it is, because there's probably many fighters out there that has that same mentality. Even yourself, you're having something to come forward with that as well. So and that's dangerous. So anyway, I can't call that fight, to be honest. I think that both of them are fucking dangerous individuals, and on the day anything can happen. I want Volk to win, but at the same time, can't wait for no man.
Yeah, my heart says Volk. My heart says Volk. My head thinks Ilya, because I just don't think Alex. Yeah, just because of what you just kind of spoke about. But my heart says Volk, and I want Volk. Volk's one of those guys because he's a genuine nice dude, man. When you just listen to him, like, I think he's a great champion, and obviously he puts his heart into it, and he is a great champion. Like, he's proved that. But outside the ring, I think he's a great champion. I want him to be one of those guys that leaves on top. Personally, I want him to be that guy. I know he tried to achieve greatness of fighting thing, and I think he did. That first fight against Islam, I think he did. Whether you win or lose, you go down as one of the greats because of that. Okay, you lost the second one. Yes, it was last minute. Again, Islam fought you last minute. It was one of those things. I still think there's nothing to take, like, don't take anything negative away from that. Like, he still goes down as one of the greats, and I would love to see him just leave on top. That's how I feel about Alex. So my heart's with Alex, man, but my head's a bit like, I don't know. We'll see. Listen, it'll be exciting. I'm excited for that one.
But wait, hold up. Before you go on to the next one, real quick though. No excuses at all. But did you hear when he was talking about that he was like drinking and whatnot in between? Then he got the call for the fight. My question is, if he had a whole camp, not to say that it would be a different fight, but could it have been a different fight? Do you think a third fight would with him in the full camp, both of them full camp, would make any difference?
I don't know. I mean, because Islam, remember, he fought Volk on short notice too. They both fought each other on short notice too. So during that short notice training camp that they had with each other, what was it, 2 weeks or whatever, or less than that, Islam adjusted with that left kick, low, 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 high, low, low. In 2 weeks, he figured out this is they made an adjustment on how to beat Volk, and it worked. So on a full training camp, you never know. But I think, like, in 2 weeks, if Islam figured it out, and his coaches and his team, with a full training camp, there would have been more to figure out. Not saying that Alex could have figured out something, but just use that 2 weeks. I mean, end of the day, bro, full training camp, not what happened. The reality of what happened is what happened, and Islam was the one who figured out the game, like the plan to finish. Now, if Alex was drinking throughout that whole time, he made the decision to fight. He shouldn't have. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, and there's no excuses now. I feel like,
yeah, of course, there's not. It's just worrying to hear that this is what's been going on with him in this time. That's why I'm like, Topuria might just come knocking,
But this is his division, though. This is Alex's division. He's a very disciplined athlete, very disciplined martial artist, and obviously amazing at his skill set. So this is a different story, and this is a full training camp. This is mentally being there. Yes, there's the knockout and stuff, but he's not fighting someone. He got knocked out by a monster, not just any 155, the top of the top, pound for pound, which is a bit sketchy, whatnot. But anyway, pound for pound fighter on a higher weight class. That shouldn't even bother him. It's like, cool. It's like, fucking hell. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it shouldn't even bother him. He's fighting in his division now, but Ilya Topuria, of course, is fucking dangerous. So it makes this fight exciting. It honestly makes this fight exciting. Put the knockout aside, put all that shit aside. It just makes this fight so fucking exciting. This is the fight to make. This is exciting. So I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely. No, and I'm sure Volk is more motivated because he's talking smack, right? you were saying. So
Exactly. So let's see how that goes. Next one, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. I mean, if Paulo Costa makes weight,
again,
yeah,
do you know how many times that was meant to happen and Costa pulled out?
yeah, a
I
few
think,
times.
yeah.
So hopefully he makes weight. This fight happens again. We'll see what happens. But I want Rob again, hearts with Robert Whittaker because I just like that nice guy. Not saying Paulo Costa is not, but I just like that Robert Whittaker's vibe is cool. So I'm
I
going
want
with
to see
Robert
Costa.
Whittaker.
Okay, I want to go with Costa because I want to see. We've seen what Robert could do, you know, with what he had, who he beat, etc. Costa slipped up. Okay, fair enough. I want to see if he's capable of leapfrogging and going further and seeing what he can do. You know, I
Oh
feel
no,
like
man. Izzy did tear him up. But when it came to Izzy, you know,
that's what I want to see if he has a second win, he has a second life. You know,
I guess we'll
but
find out
yeah,
this weekend.
I'm just curious. Yeah, I'm just curious, really. But for me, Whitaker. But I'm curious.
Yeah. Moving on. Jeff Neal versus Ian Gary. So this is one that's supposed to happen. So Ian Gary's like names out there for all the I want to say for all negative reasons because everyone's just kind of picking on him and all this sort of shit. But damn, I mean, he is a great fighter. So I guess some like you said earlier, negative any publicity is good publicity. So we'll see what happens with that. We spoke about Marab versus Cejudo. I'm going with Marab. I just think fucking hell, that relentless pace. I just think it's gonna be different. It's gonna be a good fight. But I'm going with Marab on that one. And
Well, at
then
least now from you can go for the belt if it comes to it, because I'll just up the weight. So at least we can see what he can do, right? There's a future view.
definitely, yeah. And that's what makes it exciting as well. And then just to start off that card, Anthony Hernandez versus Roman Kopylov. And that's that Russian dude. I remember him, who's also another one of those beasts. Yeah, the prelims, you got Amanda Lemos versus Mackenzie Dern, Justin
Shit. Oh yeah.
Tafa. Yeah, Marcus Rodriguez de Lima versus Justin Taffa, which is a heavyweight bout.
Okay. Yeah. This is. Oh wait, isn't Justin Tucker Thingy's brother? Is he not? He has a brother, no?
In the
Yeah,
UFC.
this guy. Yeah, isn't he? Uh, I thought he was tied to Russell. No, not him. No, sorry, somebody else. He has a brother and he fights too. Carry on anyway. I'll find it.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the brother or whatnot, but I mean, there's a lot of Samoan brothers in there, or is that the right word to use? But
Yeah, Junior Taffer. One of his brothers, Junior Taffer, is formerly glory heavyweight kickboxer and now MMA fighter in heavy. Yeah. He does have a brother.
okay, awesome. I mean, look, I think, look, the card overall is freaking gonna be fun. I think we should 100% do a watch along. So let's have that conversation. Let's try and organize that and do that. So, but yeah, man, look, that's it. I got 10 minutes before my next meeting. But anything else? I'll say, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Nothing particular, no, not really. Nah, nothing that stands out. I think what's the name? Umar Nurmagomedov is going to be returning soon. I hear.
If it's not before
So
Ramadan, it'll be after Ramadan. But I saw him, yeah, they lined him up with someone.
yeah, I don't see it right now, but yeah, that's a quick one that I can see. We're both excited to see him with that get into competition and fight because he's fucking mad as well. You know,
Definitely.
so
Definitely
out
want to
there.
see him, man. I mean, it's a shame that he got that injury, but let's see. Yeah, it'd be good to see him come back. Hopefully, he gets a fight before Ramadan, which means that couple of weeks actually. So
A whole lot of the brothers will just pull out, man. Like just do their
oh
thing and come
yeah,
back. So,
yeah, all of them. I mean, they as Khabib once said, Ramadan. When it comes to Ramadan, Ramadan comes first.
yeah. There was who was a crazy guy who fought during Ramadan? Who was it?
Bilal Muhammad fought during
Oh,
Ramadan a few
Muhammad.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Madman.
that's it, man.
That was during 2020, no? Apex times.
I think he's done it multiple times. I don't even think it was the first time. He's done it multiple times.
Okay, maybe I caught onto it during that time. He talked about it, and obviously,
Yeah,
quiet, right? Then from this, yeah, I think it was that time.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool,
man.
man. Well, look, like, let's call it there, man. Guys, again, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Show some love, like, comment, all that sort of stuff. Again, two brothers just talking about what we love, which is MMA. Give our thoughts on it. You know, so appreciate you guys watching. You know, we do get a few interactions, we get a few views. And for people who are watching, I appreciate you guys listening to us talk about the fights, man, because this shit, we love this shit. We watch it every week. Cool. My guys, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And on that note, we out. Peace.